Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line Podcast. I'm Ryan Dunleavy,
And I'm Round.
and today we are joined by Cubs draft pick Chase Meyer. Chase, thank you so much for coming on today. Super excited to have you here.
Thank y'all for having me.
Anytime, man. So, Ryan, I'll hand it over to you to get started.
Yeah, so for my first question, I feel like this is pretty typical with draft picks, but like what was draft day like for you? Kind of like, waking up in the morning thinking your name's gonna get called that day. Like how did it all go down?
I mean, it's just like, it's kind of just like doesn't feel real, but like it's like you're kind of like in a dream almost. But I mean, it's a little hectic, phone calls everywhere, teams and stuff. But I mean, just handling it like with professionalism, letting my agent do the work, letting him guide me, I think was probably the best part of that. Did a great job in telling me, what teams were thinking and along those lines. And yeah, so I mean, it was a great day. It was a little stressful to start, but it ended off well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's good. So, a lot of times you kind of hear guys have a gut feeling the team they're going to go to. Did you ever have a gut feeling or an instinct telling you that it was going to be the Cubs that would call your name?
Well, it's funny, like one of my good buddies, like 2 or 3 months ago, he's a big Cubs fan, and I was like, one team that's got super interest in me is the Cubs. Like, I could be a Cub here soon, and I just texted him, when it happened, I was like, I told you, man, like 2 months ago, I was going to be a Cub. Like, so yeah, I mean, you felt it a little bit, but you kind of just hoping you go to an organization that you like the most and that has the best interest for you. So, yeah, I felt like that was the Cubs.
That's good.
Yeah. So you made a huge jump from your freshman season, going from an 8.38 to earning all Big 12 honorable mention. Like what clicked for you and what changed kind of in your development?
Yeah, so I spent the summer in the Cape Cod, worked with a guy named Kevin Curtin, and I think his just like developmental side of like the mental game kind of trajected me forward a little bit and allowed me to kind of become the pitcher that I am, like another step towards it. Kind of allowed me to have a better season that year and kind of be a bigger role for West Virginia. But yeah, I probably have to give most of my props to him, but he kind of just laid the path, but I had to follow it.
So it was more like kind of just the mental side of it.
Yes.
That's good. So my next question is, how would you kind of describe your pitching style and what pitches do you throw?
Um, I mean, I'm just like I overpower guys. I have a power curveball. I throw a hard cutter, hard slider. My changeup's hard. I mean, pretty much everything I throw is kind of hard. Throw a curveball, slider, changeup, cutter, four seam, sinker. So I kind of got almost every pitch, and I think now it's just like refining and getting every pitch to be consistently good every day.
Yeah, which pitch do you feel most comfortable with? Like big spot, you gotta land this pitch. What pitch are you throwing in that spot?
Um, Honestly, like it kind of depends, like, outing to outing. But my curveball has been my best pitch throughout my entire life. Now as I grow a little bit older, my changeup and my fastball are starting to become a lot more playable in those bigger counts. But yeah, I mean it's the story about it is, I mean, the curveball gets the job done and I've thrown it for so long, so I probably have the the most trust in it.
Yeah, that's good.
So you spent some time as both, coming out of the bullpen and as a starter. Do you have a preference, or are you just, wherever they need me, I'll pitch?
Yeah, honestly, wherever they need me, I'll pitch. I think that's kind of like the mentality I've had. I think everybody wants to be in the big leagues, and I think it doesn't really matter where you are when you get there. It's just as long as you're getting there and being able to step on the mound.
Yeah, so for my question, how did your time at West Virginia prepare you for pro ball? And how did your sophomore season really help you develop into the pitcher who you are?
It just like matured me. I had an opportunity to go to the draft out of high school, and I think through my advisor and everything, it just was like, I wasn't mature enough to be there. And I completely agree now looking back on it. I just needed a little more time to like really grow into who I was and like kind of understand like what it took to be a big leaguer. And, I'm thankful that West Virginia kind of molded me into that way. Coach Mazey kind of took me under his wing a little bit and kind of just, led me along the path. He's been doing it for so long. So I kind of just trusted his intuition and just kind of, followed kind of the path that he laid.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I mean, every pitcher I feel like has one outing that they'll never forget. Like looking back at your college career and maybe even high school too. Like, is there one outing that kind of stands out to you and you really will remember forever?
Yeah, I'd say probably the Oklahoma State series, my sophomore year. Friday or Thursday when we get there, we're having practice, and wildfire comes about, and we have to evacuate all the way over to Tulsa, um, up there until Saturday, and then finally they're just like, yeah, let's get a one game weekend in pretty much. Like, so we played that Sunday after driving back down from Tulsa. The brush fire kind of held up on us. The smoke was kind of going away. So we had everybody hot that weekend, and it was like Friday guy was starting, Saturday was coming out the pen, Sunday was coming out the pen, and we were playing a tough matchup with them, ball flies in Oklahoma. So a lot of home runs were being hit, and our Saturday and Sunday guys had came out a little earlier, and I got the ball I think in the sixth inning, and I end up going 3.1 and having nine strikeouts to close the game out for us.
Shut the door.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting matchup.
That's got to be a great feeling. So for my next question is, how has the Arizona experience been so far? I mean, just getting drafted, going right to Arizona, signing your contract, and meeting all these other draft picks and people in the Cubs system and coaches. Like, how has the whole Arizona experience been so far?
I mean, it's awesome. It's like a definitely like a step up from college. Like you're getting one-on-one help from pretty much everybody. You're having meetings on like what they have to plan for you and what you need to work on. And the technology here is just kind of next level. So Arizona itself is beautiful. It's always hot out here. Right now it's raining a little bit, but about to pass through that. But I enjoy it out here. I'm just ready to get playing.
Yeah, have you met any of the other like Cubs draft picks or people within the system?
Yeah, so they kind of have us working out, kind of doing the onboarding, like, kind of getting used to the facility and the complex a little bit together. So we've been kind of doing a little bit of everything together, kind of in groups a little bit, but we all met each other kind of the first couple days here.
Yeah, it's good. It's a beautiful facility down there in Mesa at Sloan Park and all those fields back there.
It's awesome. This complex and facility is one of the best out there.
100%.
Yes. Love to hear that. I wanted to talk a little bit about like the Cape Cod League. Like, how did facing some of like the country's best hitters kind of prepare you for pro ball?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been there twice. So first time I was a little younger, so it was just more just like kind of getting into my shoes. This next time it was kind of just like working what I needed to work on. I think that's kind of what summer ball is about. Which was throwing fastballs for strikes consistently. And I think we kind of achieved that goal within the three outings. It was kind of 90% heater. And, whatever the result was, it was more so that we were looking to grow into something more than just a result. We achieved our goal, which was throwing fastballs consistently. Um, and I think I took that, and now going into the big leagues, you can't just have one pitch. Even in the minors, doesn't matter what A or what level you're at. Having one pitch gets you so far, but just having multiple in the zone and above average pitches will take you a long way.
Yeah, so for my next question, you were a highly rated prospect coming out of high school, 31st ranked right-handed pitcher in the country by perfect game, 110th overall player. Like, how do you handle that pressure coming out of high school?
Honestly, I think you just kind of like at the end of the day, we're still like humans. I was just a kid, so I was just kind of like, it's just baseball to me. A ranking is a ranking at the end of the day, but none of those guys sat down and had a conversation with me or anything. So I guess you really don't read into it too much. Some people do, but I just kind of enjoyed playing, and like, I was thankful and blessed to be able to play at the next level and be talented as I am. But I mean the rankings and stuff is kind of just noise outside. It doesn't really mean too much, but I mean, it puts you in a position to get a little more stuff and to kind of get to that next level at a Power Four school.
Yeah, is there any like memories you had from high school that really stand out to you? Any outings or big games?
I mean, yeah, in high school, I mean, I had one game where it was. I mean, you only play 7 innings in high school, so I went 7 innings. I had 14 Ks in the playoffs, but I mean, that's just like it's kind of just like it was kind of another day in the office, and that's kind of how it is now. I kind of haven't changed that mindset part where it's just like, don't want to ride the highs and then ride the lows. You kind of just want to stay even with it, and I think I've took that consistently throughout my career, and I've just tried to better it as I've made more steps up.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I know you were talking about like, one pitch, just throwing one pitch only gets you so far. Is there a specific pitch that you've been kind of working on mostly to get better, or have you kind of just been working, on all of them?
Yeah, it's kind of just like a mix on all of them. Like some pitches get a little more love than others because you throw them a little more confident in them. You want to kind of get them to that point where you're 100% in it. But yeah, it's just a day by day step. Like one day you're throwing changeups, one day you're throwing cutters a little more. Kind of just depends. Each pitch isn't going to be on every day, so it's just kind of working with what you got. I'm working on a cutter for the past 2 months, and who know, I've only been working on it for 2 months, and some days it's better than my slider, and it's like you just kind of got to stick with that and kind of go as the outing goes on.
But for my last question, like, what's like the biggest lesson you've learned, whether it's on the field or off the field, and since maybe even high school, to kind of prepare you for pro ball.
Yeah, just to kind of keep the wheels rolling. Every day can bring something different. Some days are better than others, but it's just kind of like being even with your mindset and and your emotions and showing up to the ballpark, being the same person every day, being the same person every day on the mound, whether it's you gave up 10 runs or you gave up 0 runs. I think that's kind of like a big thing when you're up here is that like body language means a lot, and I think it's that transition into becoming a pro where you kind of have to make those adjustments where you're the same person day in and day out. Like you're not changing just off of slightest things, and I think that's kind of the most momentum that I've made as I've kind of shifted into this pro ball mindset.
Nice.
Yeah, and then for my last question, what would that mean for you to make your MLB debut? Just in general with the Cubs and that whole experience, what would that mean to you?
I mean, it's everything. I mean, it's all we dream about since we were kids. Just playing the game day in and day out. But I mean, I feel like it's just going to be like a surreal moment when it comes. I mean, it's just like being a kid again. You're just on a bigger stage, and the lights are bright. But I feel like every kid wants to be on the stage where the lights are the brightest. And yeah, I mean, when it comes, then I'm ready for it. It's like I said, it's just another day on the bump, whether it's in the show or it's in rookie ball. But the feeling before will definitely be a little different than every other one.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Chase, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Congrats on being drafted by the Cubs, signing the contract and everything. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, and good luck this year.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Y'all fellas have a good day.
You as
Thank
well.
you.